I got literally the #1 Eagles content creator on the planet right here next to me, Miles Johnson, host of Real Talk with MJ, but you can just call him MJ. We'll keep it there. What's good, brother? It's on Cloud 9 to have you in tonight. You already know what time it is. Welcome back into the NFL with AJL, episode 119. You're tapped in here on the full podcast. You could have been anywhere else in the world. Plenty of choices out there for sports shows and talking heads like us, but you're right here tapped in with us. Y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell so you never miss a post. Share the show wherever you may be watching or listening at NFL with AJL. You can see the link and the handle down in the description for every bit of our social media and podcast content. We got a very special guest on the show tonight. Been a long time in the works, but there's never a better time than the present. I got literally the #1 Eagles content creator on the planet right here next to me, Miles Johnson, host of Real Talk with MJ, but you can just call him MJ. We'll keep it there. What's good, brother? It's on Cloud 9 to have you in tonight.
AJ, it's a pleasure to be on, and just thank you for the invitation. Obviously, we've seen each other's work for several years. I mean, I started 2020. I remember your work 2021. So we talked a little bit before, but happy to be on. Happy to talk some ball.
Yes, sir. And we've come loaded with the Eagles content for you. And if we got some time for a few other topics, then we'll get it out there. But I could not have the #1 Eagles content creator in the world on the show and not be able to talk mostly Eagles ball, Jalen Hurts ball. Guys, real quick, if you don't follow MJ, which all of his stuff will be in the description, and chances are most of you already do, at Real Talk with MJ, it is all things Eagles. I mean, he's at all the games. He went to the Super Bowl. You name it for Eagles, and MJ has made content around it. Speaking of Eagles, man, we're going to jump right into the top as they win an absolute thriller. Probably the win of the year so far with the way that it ended. Shout out to Jordan Davis. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles walking it off in the link for the largest home comeback ever for Nick Sirianni. 33-26, 26 unanswered. MJ, you were literally there, bro. Just take the floor. What is going through your mind kind of first half, second half, as you just really witnessed a tale of two tapes, but ultimately your boys brought home the win?
Here's the thing that I noticed the Eagles offense doing that I planned on talking about this before the game. And then after this game, it just reinforces my main point. And my main issue with the Eagles offense, and we saw it clear as day in the first half, was that they were playing not to lose versus playing to win. See, Mike Tyson, when he gets in that ring, is he adjusting to his opponent? No, his opponent adjusts to him because he's so great. The Eagles, they got Jalen Hurts, a superstar. A.J. Brown, a superstar. Devontae Smith, the best wide receiver 2, top 3 at worst in the league. You got a great offensive line. You got Saquon Barkley. You have all the weapons. These defenses should be adjusting to what you guys do. You shouldn't be looking at a Cowboys team without Micah Parsons and say, all right, well, they're in zone coverage. We're just not going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith like that because we don't want to turn over the ball, or we're just playing scary. Like, scared money don't make no money. So this game in the first half, Kevin Patullo, the Eagles offensive coordinator, was calling the game scared, as if he didn't want to take any chances. And so, unfortunately, it came to the Eagles being down 19 points and Jalen Hurts talking to Patullo, and he was a little bit irate, a little bit animated. And I think he was telling him, can we open the offense up? We got nothing to lose. And my issue with that is it should never be a time where A.J. Brown is your last resort. It should never be a time that Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, that these guys are your last resort. I mean, before that second half, you would think the Eagles don't have a 3-time All-Pro. They don't have a Pro Bowler wide receiver in Devontae Smith. They don't have their second leading receiver in postseason history, Dallas Goedert, who's actually a tight end, but he's so great. Yards after catch, being able to separate. Like you said, he is a monster. And so again, the first half, I made a little halftime takeaways, and I thought the offense was disgusting. And then
Yeah.
once you saw them really say, okay, let's open this playbook up and let's feed the ball to our best players, we saw Jalen Hurts have 3 touchdowns, 200 yards just in the second half. So if he did that in the first half, he was on pace to get 6 tutties and like 600 yards. He's not going to do
Talk
that.
to him,
But
MJ.
what the real point is like, yo, you should be able to not play scared when you have superheroes playing for your team.
Yeah. Yeah, very well said. And that's one of I'm sure you followed my content, but like I've been a Jalen truther since he was rocking the locks at Bama, bro. Like I've been a Jalen truther from the start of time. And as a Georgia fan, like I witnessed that a lot. When you literally him and Tua, when you are able to be that forthcoming with your staff, your sideline guys, and be like, hey, and I think that's what makes the Eagles so special. Like, not just Jalen Hurts, but when you're able to go to the sidelines and the players are leaning in, they're like, yo, what we're doing is not working. And like, we're sure that this happens on other NFL teams. Like, you're a team more than just on the field. Like, you got to be a team mentally. You got to be a team, within your energy on the sideline. And like, it reminds me of when, and you might have a little bit of correction here for me, when Sirianni basically last season was like, team, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? What do we need to be better at?
Mm.
You need to lean into the guy in Saquon Barkley that you just paid a bag to before the season started, and clearly the rest was history. 2,500 scrimmage yards. We know the insane season that Saquon just came out and had. And then Jalen Hurts literally goes over there and says, bro, we have nothing to lose. We have a guy in A.J. Brown who, thank goodness, snapped it. I was so tired of seeing guys. I'm going to call them out. I was tired of seeing Colin Cowherd trying to get these little snake trade packages for A.J. Brown like things were not working. I'm like, Colin, you still have a solid show, bro. It can't be that slow. Ratings cannot be that bad. Okay. Like you kind of in the building, MJ. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Mhm.
like that. So I'm like, man, I'm glad that AJ's AJ Brown's performance really put that to bed, because AJ Brown has always been a top weapon for that offense. There's no question about it. But the first few weeks of the season, like you were saying, conservative play calling, you're going to hear some chirping, but I'm very glad the Eagles put that to bed. And just some further takeaways here. Like from my end, you look minute and a half into the game. You were there. Obviously, you saw it. Zach Bond, huge interception. We got 13 and a half minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Eagles are already stealing the momentum. They go up 7-0. They're chewing, half of the quarter off the clock. And to go from the worst half under Nick Sirianni offensively, 22 plays for 33 yards, then to turn it around and literally make it the largest home comeback under him that's just prime Eagles football, man. That is elite leadership from top to bottom, from quarterback to head coach and everything in between. And, shout out to y'all's defense as well for really making those best adjustments. I mean, clearly, and I kind of saw it this way, MJ. Outside of 2 quick touchdown drives for LA, Philly held them. You guys held them to 4 field goals throughout the rest of the game. LA was really struggling to punch it into the red zone. And that's just the perfect definition of Fangio's defense, right? You bend, but you don't break. You're going to have plays that get you over the top. You're going to have times where the secondary slips, or maybe you guys just don't get home on the pass rush. But in that moment, Fangio's defense definitely stood tall, and I firmly believe that y'all have the best defensive coordinator in the league. I remember when Miami let go of him. I was like,
Mhm.
what's going on there? And then the Eagles picked him up, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty concerning. Then the Bond moves. Obviously, you guys going on to win the Super Bowl, the way that you did. And I thought Philly started pretty well at the beginning of every quarter outside of the second quarter, really the end of the first. McCullough gets that huge hit on Jalen Hurts. I did not like seeing Jalen Hurts take those types of hits in this game. But even
Yeah.
after that massive hit, you only go on to allow a field goal on that opening drive for LA, after they're able to just kind of stifle you there. Shout out Quinyon Mitchell, though. You make plenty of content around him, and I see why, bro, because on Sunday, he shadowed Devontae Adams on 27 of his 34 routes. That was the first time he's really had to fill shoes like that and shadow somebody on 60+% of their routes, 60% plus of their routes. He only allowed 2 catches for 12 yards on 5 targets after he matched up with him basically 22 times on a post-snap alignment. Devontae's only other catch when Q Mitch was not on him was the 44-yarder that got over Reed Blankenship. And I personally thought that there was a push off there, but I guess since Reed was
Mhm.
kind of stretched out, the refs just let him play it out. So I guess I respect the no call. MJ, what's your thoughts on this, man? I know you're probably trying to push this behind you. I've seen you make some content on it as well. We saw 2 more false starts on the tush push in this game, and we saw the league last week say, quote, the offense has to be virtually perfect. We're calling it tight. were calling it very critical. And you don't have to, go on long about it. But what did you think of the league kind of missing that in the second straight week?
Yeah, I think with the false starts, I was on record saying, like, I'm for the tush push, but
Right.
I want to do it the legal way. And when
Yep.
I was saying do it the legal way, I wasn't even talking about the false starts. I was
Yeah.
talking about, I don't want y'all to be using the tush push to mask bad play calling. That
Right.
just really grinds my gears because
Hmm.
you have elite offensive weapons. So if you're just abusing Saquon Barkley and saying, hey, you ran for 2K yards, we'll just use you, not going to use anybody else. So whether it's 1st and 10, bring it, 2nd and 6, then 3rd and 1, tush push. Okay, doesn't work, tush push again. I don't like how they used it in the Chiefs game, but
Yeah, 7 times.
I'm still a supporter of the play in general because other teams can do it, like, but they can't. And the reason why other teams can't do it, because they've tried. The Bills have tried, the Packers have tried. Like these teams that are super against the tush push, they have tried. But wanna know who they don't have? Jalen Hurts. They don't
Yep.
have Jalen Hurts. Like when this play gets banned, you're going to be looking at Jalen Hurts like the greats that have changed the game because they've had a unstoppable move that nobody can replicate. Whether it was Wilt Chamberlain dunking from the free throw line, whatever the case may be, like when you're so great, they're gonna have to change the rules because not everybody else can do it. And it seems unfair, but it only seems unfair because everybody else cannot do it. So back to your original question, the false starts, I think when people like zoom into like every millisecond and it's like, okay,
That's
like,
fair.
yeah, yeah, but like you can do that for like damn near any play, every single play somebody's holding. Every single
Yeah,
play
for
somebody's
sure.
holding.
For sure.
Every every single play is some
And I
pass
kinda
interference.
mentioned that too when the league was
Yeah.
like, they have to be virtually perfect. I'm like, "Okay, so this is already a highly controversial play, and now you're coming out, you're admitting that it's hard to officiate." First of all, the pile of bodies that you have to sift through and the amount of people that are moving before the ref finally comes up and makes the call. So it's already difficult, but now you're saying it has to be virtually perfect. So you're already going to exacerbate the play as it is because of the league's statements. Like we're looking to the league to correct this and officiate it correctly. And they're just, yeah, it's
They're
starting to roll out kind of
yeah,
tough.
and it's like, okay, I get like there being more eyeballs on it. And I was on record saying that Chiefs game is going to be the reason why the play gets banned.
Yep, I
And it
remember
just
that.
goes back to my main point. My main discuss with the offense was you got too many players for you to rely on the tush push as a necessity and not a luxury. Like when it's in the flow of the game, bomb to AJ Brown, and some Eagles fans didn't like this, but it's just facts. It feels way better if you have a bomb to AJ Brown and he happens to land at the 1 yard line and you tush push
Yeah,
versus you just like running the ball, 3 tush pushes in one drive,
yeah,
and that's how you're using that and you score a field goal or something like that. So uh but we pretty much know, yeah, the play is gonna get banned for sure. So I'm a proponent of all right, just ride it till the wheels fall off, but do it the right
100%.
way. Do it the right way. Have a competent offense. If you have a
Yeah,
competent offense, you know what, I'm with y'all. Let's go ahead and just run the play until they ban it.
yeah. And look, when the Eagles go undefeated and go back to back, they only got 17 more games to do it, so they might as well just ride it till the wheels fall off, like you said. Man, you already know how I feel about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts dealt with so much adversity in this game. And honestly, man, I don't know if I've seen a quarterback like Jalen Hurts really prove himself time over time and still, for some reason, just keep having the doubters and the people just discounting what he's doing. You lost Lane Johnson in the first quarter. Best right tackle in football, arguably, right? You see it's a stinger, it's a neck injury, and then you have Pryor come in, which was clearly a turnstile over there. And then so Fred Johnson comes in to save the day. But Jalen Hurts took a couple of hard hits in this ball game, and it felt like as Hurts was taking those hits, and first of all, I love how he popped right back up, never showed any sign of discontent. I mean, face just straight as possible. He completely ate them, and we just know that's what Jalen Hurts is made of. But then when you see Fred Johnson come in after that, Sirianni is like, okay, I've absolutely had enough. We cannot have our superstar quarterback getting pelted like that and expect to be able to have a chance in this ball game. So to know that your offensive coordinator was calling absolute crap, none of the weapons were getting involved, which goes back to your OC. Then you lose a guy in Lane Johnson who was so pivotal on that trademark play that we were just mentioning. You had -2 passing yards in the first quarter. Jalen Hurts gets into the second half, wipes every bit of that. 18 to 29, 212 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, a 17-play, 91-yard go-ahead drive in the fourth quarter. The Eagles are now 17-0, an undefeated NFL season when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes a game for them. They are 19-1 in their last 20 games. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. It's not anything that you don't know, MJ, but just to really drive home the fact of Jalen Hurts being the one that is spearheading this team. When you needed to throw, Jalen Hurts made it. When you needed a correct read, Jalen Hurts made it. We've already seen his pre-snap and post-snap adjustments. He's one of the most intelligent quarterbacks in the NFL. When the Eagles needed their superstar quarterback to step up, he did it. Jalen heard the critics, just like when he sat down at the presser last year and said, that's what y'all wanted to see? Y'all wanted to see me do that? He basically embodied that statement into this game. All right, MJ, I'm going to call this an all things Eagles segment specifically for Real Talk with MJ. As a diehard Eagles fan, give me your top 3 Eagles moments in history.
All right. Number one has got to be being in New Orleans with my pops, who is a Cowboys fan, but like really he liked the Eagles for real. And yeah, he loves his son. He helped his son get tickets for the game, but he wanted to see the Birds, and he's a Jalen Hurts guy. He wanted to see them go ahead and win it. So that has got to be best memory, seeing these guys lift that Lombardi trophy. My guy, Jalen Hurts, who I said since 2020, he was the one when he was wearing the number 2 jersey, but he played the Saints. They were 10-2, had a phenomenal team, phenomenal defense, and he beat them as a huge underdog. That's when I knew. So it was a full circle moment for
I remember that game.
Just to be validated.
That was the game that the Saints had led up a 100-yard rusher for the first time in an NFL record, like 26 games. Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders did it to us. That was huge.
They did it. And like having that duel at their quarterback opens the game up for a Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, Saquon Barkley. That just took it to a whole nother level. So that's the first moment. The second moment has got to be this game. I mean, to be there in person and to see just the whole vibe there, just feel the energy. And it was perfect. Like, it just encapsulated what Philly represents and how you respond to Philly. Because there's a lot of talk about Philly fans are trash, all this stuff. I saw Buffalo Bills players trying to attack Lamar Jackson, them throw chips, throw all debris on them in Buffalo, but they're just the best fans in the world. Oh, just every freaking team has some bad apples, but Philly, they wear their heart on their sleeve. We wear our heart on our sleeve, and when you aren't playing well, we will let you know. I was booing the BS in the first half. Because what the hell are y'all doing? And if it wasn't for Zach Bond and Jordan Davis and Vic Fangio's defense keeping the Eagles in the game, it could have and should have been a blowout. And maybe if Matthew Stafford was a little bit on his game, a little bit more accurate, they could have got some touchdowns instead of field goals. So just to see all that unfold in the first half and then record it, and especially like just different opinions in society and all this stuff, to just hug people, give people high fives. Ain't matter who you were, purple, yellow, it don't matter, black, white, it don't matter. It was just the love there. It just showed how great, how amazing like sports are. It brings people together. So that's number 2. And I would say my third best moment has got to be just watching the Super Bowl, the first time they won, and
Mhm.
Brandon Graham strip sack on Tom Brady in the biggest moment,
Yep.
and being able to I have a video on my phone, 2017, I'm in high school. As soon as that
Oh, we
game
gotta
was
have it on
over,
the story, bro. We gotta get it on the
man,
story or it didn't happen, bro.
yeah, yeah. I had to go in my Snapchat memories, find that, and
Yep.
like I literally was rapping Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill, yelling top of my lungs right outside the house, just celebrating. All my friends and us were just celebrating, got a day off from school for the
I remember
parade.
that.
So
Y'all closed the
uh
schools.
exactly, close the schools. So yeah, it's gotta be again, 2024 Super Bowl, gotta be today or yesterday. Phenomenal comeback win, and then winning the first bowl and just that parade and getting that day off from school.
I figured those would be your top 3, at least 2 of the 3, but I had to hear it from a diehard Eagles fan, and I love how all of those were in-person moments for you too, like, you easily could have went, a moment you were in there, mentioned something from the Reed era, but, like, no, you kept it for, like, what you were in person for, and honestly, man, it's just awesome to know that you were able to really witness those top 2 moments right there in person.
Yeah.
Okay, as a diehard Eagles fan, if you were Howie Roseman for a day, what's one move that you'd make right now to guarantee that the Eagles win the Super Bowl again? No question this year.
The biggest issue that I would probably say at this very moment is tight end depth, because I like Dallas Goedert a lot, and I think that he's a top 5 caliber tight end when he is healthy, and the only question about him is his health. Now, when Dallas Goedert is out, there is a huge drop off. Huge drop off. It goes
Yeah.
here, boop, boop, right there. So Grant Calcaterra, he can't block. He's terrible run blocker, can't pass block. I mean, we had a open AJ Brown first play of the game against the Chiefs. Kevin Pasulo, credit to him, he gets a lot of crap, but he drew up a nice play. But Calcaterra couldn't block the edge rusher right there, and it ends up being a sack or ends up being a fumble and a negative play. So that's the one thing. Like, if the Eagles can go out here and get some depth at tight end, I would look at that, as well as cornerback. And I would bring back Isaiah Rodgers. And there was so much
99.9 PFF grade.
craziness. Yeah, it was so much craziness yesterday. I remember I'm in the Eagles Stadium and they're just showing the scores of the different games in the NFL that day. And then I saw something like 48-7 Vikings. I'm like, what? I'm thinking to myself, dang, like Carson Wentz went back in time. Like, then I look on Twitter and I'm like, wait, Isaiah Rodgers had a scoop and score and a pick six. I mean, he had some other things too, but like
Yeah.
he arguably had the best game a defensive back has ever had, at least top 5, at least top 3 for I mean, who has had a
Yep.
better game than that? I'm young, but I haven't seen anybody do that before. So again, we know he's not gonna do that every game, but we do look at this and we say we could have signed that guy back on a
Yeah.
2-year, $11 million deal with the Vikings. I would
Yep.
bring that guy back just like how they brought back Fred Johnson, who should have never left Philly. He left for the
Uh-huh.
Jaguars in free agency. Great locker room guy. You see him on social media with the guys. Just a great vibes guy, Fred Johnson. And Isaiah Rodgers, he's that. If you look on AJ Brown's story, it might still be up, may not. But the only post that he had on his story was showing Isaiah Rodgers' PFF grade. So obviously, like, they're
Yeah.
super tight, and uh, he's a guy that Philly always gonna love him. But I was like, "Damn, if we could bring him back, that would be amazing too."
Yeah. I've seen you talk about missing, not missing, but wishing that you guys had picked up Jalen Ramsey as well, the way he's been playing a little bit over these last few weeks with the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh man, facts. I mean, that's another guy, and I like Andrew Makuba a lot, and I know there was talk about like having like Jalen Ramsey playing safety and all that, but like Jalen Ramsey is somebody too that I think just because of how big his contract was at his age, they were like, all
Yeah.
right, we can allocate these resources somewhere else. But I had to apologize to Jalen Ramsey because I was saying I don't want him at all, and I would definitely want that, brother. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if it was no cap situation and it was just like baseball, just no cap. Oh, for sure. Like let's go ahead and sign Jalen Ramsey. That's a guy. But the reason why the Eagles cornerback position is a little bit iffy is because they trusted Keely Ringo to step up. Georgia Bulldog, you know who he is, and
Mhm.
he just didn't step up in training camp. He did not show enough to become the starter, and that's pretty damning that he can't even see the field. A guy that all of
Yeah.
Philly thought, oh yeah, like he's the next guy to replace Slay. That's why you let go of Slay and Rogers was because you
Mhm.
believed in Ringo, and Ringo can't even get on the field if it's not
Mhm.
special teams? I mean, so every time a Dory Jackson or Jacorian Bennett, they get cooked, I just be saying to myself, bruh, Keely Ringo, this your fault, brother, because if you was really what we thought you were supposed to be, you would be that guy opposite of Quinyon Mitchell, and
Yeah.
you would be starting.
Yeah. That's crazy about Keely Ringo too, because he was such a solid corner at Georgia, and he was the one that brought it home in the pick six against Nick Saban when we played them in the national championship. So Keely Ringo, Stetson Bennett, Sony Michelle, those guys will always have a very special place in my heart. Just want to make sure I'm respecting your time. Do you have time for this Eagles trivia? No, we had a little hiccup.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, bet. So I've got 10 questions for you again as a diehard Eagles fan that I wanted to throw your way and just honestly keep you on your toes, man. Keep you sharp about your all time favorite team. Of course, there's no question about that with people watching the show and everything that we've been through. So starting from the top, we'll kind of have 3 easy ones, 3 medium ones, and then 4 challenging ones. But man, take your time, or if you just need a pass, to maybe come back to it, we can do that as well. Number one,
Cool.
who was the leading rusher and receiver of the Eagles' first Super Bowl win? In
Was
that
that
game, the leading rusher, the leading receiver.
leading receiver Alshon Jeffrey and leading rusher LeGarrette Blunt?
LeGarrette Blunt was correct on the rusher. It was actually Corey Clement in that game. He had 4 catches for 100 yards, but Alshon was just right behind him,
Wow.
actually. So you were close, bro. No
Wow.
worries. Who threw the Philly special to Nick Foles?
Oh, dang, that's a good one. No, that's something that like our Eagles fans, y'all gotta cook me for this one because oh,
I'll give you a
man, that's
hint.
a good one. I forget. Wait,
You finna nail it right here.
was it Sproles?
Uh-uh. I'll give you another guess. Last name starts with a B.
Oh, it was LeGarrette. No, it wasn't LeGarrette Blunt.
I almost threw you off there. It was Trey
But
Burton.
wait, but Trey Burton. Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna get that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
Dang,
That's
that's
okay.
crazy. That's crazy.
No, it's all right. I'm sure you'll know this one. Who returned the walk-off punt touchdown in the 2010 Miracle at the New Meadowlands?
Deshaun Action Jackson. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes. He's like, this will warm up, bro. As soon as you hear walk-off punt return touch,
Oh
stop
yeah.
right there. Deshaun Jackson. All right, on to the medium ones. On the notable 4th and 26 versus Green Bay, who made the catch and who threw it? It's kind of a historical question. I feel like I could have provided more context around this
Against
for you.
this was against Green Bay. This is when Aaron Rodgers was playing.
Yes.
And repeat the trivia question again.
Yeah, absolutely. On 4th and 26 versus Green Bay, who made the catch and who threw it? See if I can get you a little more context around it.
Ooh, why do I feel like it was Vic?
Okay, so Vic for who threw it, who caught it? I'll give you a hint, actually. It was back in 2004. I don't want to do you like that. So it was back in 2004.
Okay.
Played on
McNabb.
January
Okay,
11th, 04.
McNabb. I know it's McNabb, but like, I'm not gonna know the receiver. I'm not gonna receiver.
Freddie Mitchell.
Freddie Mitchell.
Freddie Mitchell had the catch from Donovan McNabb. Who is the Eagles' all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns?
Donovan McNabb.
Yes, sir. You see a warm-up there before we get you into the next one. All right. Before Saquon Barkley broke the Eagles' single-season rushing record, who held it before, and how many yards did he have?
LaShawn McCoy.
You ain't
And
got
I
to be
believe
spot on. I think if you get within 300 yards, that's solid, bro.
he had to have had either 1,600 or 1,700.
1,607, actually. So I'm gonna give you all the way correction on that one, bro. You got that one for sure. All right. Last four here. The Eagles have sold out every home game since what year? And it's a continuing streak. Still happening today.
So we got to the bowl in 04. But Philly fans are die. I'll say 98.
Oh, 1999. You were close,
Damn,
bro.
damn. I was like, I knew because we were trash.
I saw the gears there. You were like,
we were trash. I'm like, okay, so it has to be like when we like started getting good. Andy Reid, turned us up. Okay, I like that. Okay,
yeah. All right. How many times have the Eagles made the playoffs?
I think I will say.
I feel like you're literally calculating right now. You're like, yes, no, yes, yes.
Because like I'm thinking about the 21st century and like they've been one of the most winningest teams in 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other years, like the 80s, 90s, they weren't too good. I will say 13.
13 total times, MJ, that you think the Eagles have made the playoffs?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's so crazy.
What's crazy is you're actually
cook me.
You're you're close.
Because I'm thinking that is crazy because like that's a lot of football. And only third. That's like some like Cleveland Browns like stuff right there. I will go to it's gotta be the 20s.
You're close, but also far. I don't want to like reveal it too much because if I said
I say like 35.
31. You literally had it backwards at first. You said 13, it was 31. You came in at 35. Close enough, man. The fact that you're able to revise that and get close to it.
Yeah, I had to revise that one. Oh.
Unless you was over there typing on the Mac, bro, looking up the answers, then that's a protest against this trivia, brother. I'm kidding. All right. Last two here. Name all three players that are tied for the most career interceptions in Eagles history. And I'll give you a hint. These three guys each have 34 interceptions for the Eagles.
Wow. They must play for. These gotta be some old heads. Yeah, these gotta be some old heads for sure.
Two household names. One that, you're definitely turning back the books for that one.
Asante
the first one
Samuel?
You know immediately.
Asante Samuel.
He's not on. He's not on there.
First one I know immediately. Which year? This like the 2010s?
Yeah, so you're gonna have a player from like the 2010s. Let me see when this one person actually played for you guys. So this gentleman played for you in the late 80s through early 90s. One that you immediately know. I just know you're kind of blanking right now, but I know you know it. And then this other gentleman, let's see. Should have had these a little more prep for you. Let's see. And then this other gentleman played for you guys in like late 60s through like mid kind of late 70s.
Yes, I won't get that guy, but I
know you can hit these too, though. I know you can.
And it's so crazy because like when you say it, I'm be like, bro, what?
For the one name, yeah. I know you will be for sure. I'll
No
mark one of them off
Nam-
the list for
it's
you.
not
The old head is Bill Bradley. He was from 69 to 76.
Okay.
But these other two, I know you got one.
Namdi?
Oh,
It wasn't Namdi. Um,
Namdi Asamoah was a monster.
he was tough. He was tough.
Yeah, he was. Okay, so here, let's stick on
I
that.
don't know.
This first guy is very tough. Like, absolute smash mouth defensive player, bro. Like, don't throw on him. MJ, Brian Dawkins, bro.
Shoot. Oh, I know this one. Oh, I know this one. Dawkins.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
tripping. Yo,
Bro,
I'm
you're good.
tripping.
You're good.
One of the one of the
Go
best
ahead.
Eagles of all time. I mean, when he would just run out the tunnel, not even run, he would crawl
Yeah.
out the tunnel. He impersonates what Philly's all about.
BD was a monster. One of my favorite. Dumb question. He was a safety, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins was. I mean, you feared him like you feared Palomalu. Seriously, like you respected him back there. And then the other one was Eric Allen. But I'll hit you with one more hard one.
He just got in the Hall of Fame. He just got in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yep.
That's my thing.
Eric Allen,
I be showing my youth, but I'm like,
no, you're good, bro. I knew this was gonna kind of like. I'm sure you're used to just jumping on. Oh, we're finna talk some ball. We're finna talk some Eagles. Like it's finna be good. I told you I had to keep you sharp. But this is by no. And let me just say this for everybody. This is by no stretch an indictment on MJ's fandom because again, nobody works harder on, around, for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to content. And you guys will know that either before coming here or clearly after. All right, last one. Who was the head coach of the Eagles when you guys were the 1960 NFL champions? It's a super OG.
I don't know that one. Yeah, I don't know that one. I don't know
Buck
that
Shaw.
One. Buck Shaw. Okay.
Buck Shaw.
Bucks.
Yes, I think we got.
Damn.
1, 2, 3. I'll give you credit for those three for sure. 4, 5.
Yeah, I get credit for that. Deshaun Jackson. I know I got a failing grade, but hey.
Nah, bro, you're good. You're good. I definitely threw you some historian questions too. Like, eventually, once we're at a certain age, like we don't, unless we're literally like pulling up the encyclopedias or going through like Pro Football Reference, a lot of these are going to be, interesting to actually know. So no, man, I just wanted to test you there a little bit, just see, how you would do. And honestly, man, it was a really fun segment. So I appreciate you hanging on and let me grind your gears as we finished out the show. But I know you got to run out of here, so I will let you plug yourself, man. Not that you need it because you're doing phenomenal. But tell the people about you and just where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, AJ, for having me on again. It's an absolute pleasure. Great people in this industry and this sports content space. Y'all can follow me, Real Talk with MJ, all social platforms. And on X or Twitter, it's Real Talk with MJ #1. So yeah, appreciate it. And gotta have you on Real Talk as well.
Yeah, man. I was about to say, give me a shout, text me, call me, whatever, DM me, bro. I'd love to come jump on and do a little reaction, or maybe if you just need me, man, I'd love to return the favor.
Let's do it.
All right, MJ. Well, be blessed, bro. I'm going to let you jump out. I'm going to talk a few more segments here. But again, thank you for your time. Glad we got to chop it up, Eagles, really go through some of that trivia. And I'll get you the file, too, so you can have your guys chop it up. And I think it'll turn out for some great content for you, too, bro.
My God, appreciate you.
All right, y'all. That was an absolute pleasure to have Real Talk with MJ in on the show. Don't forget to check him out. Like I've mentioned umpteen times, he is the #1 Eagles content creator. And I'm going to make sure you guys know that before you actually get out of episode 119. 3-0 or 3-0? Which 3-0 NFL teams are for real right now and could actually go on and win the Super Bowl? First up, the Buffalo Bills. I think they're an absolutely real NFL team. It's very clear that Josh Allen is on another MVP run. Sean McDermott continuing to get the best out of him. There is a lot that the Buffalo Bills do well offensively. You would like to see them come around more defensively, situationally, especially to open up the year against the Ravens, but that's week 1, right? But you cannot deny what the Bills have done to the Ravens, what they've done to the Dolphins. And to be honest, I cannot remember the third game that they played, but I know that they have looked very sound. The Jets. They have absolutely taken care of business on all fronts when needed. The Chargers are your second team here, and I'm going to say that they are 3-0. They are for real. Justin Herbert playing at an MVP level. Jim Harbaugh absolutely comfortable in that head coaching position. Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston are really, and especially Quentin Johnston being able to make these comebacks. Justin Herbert playing at an absolutely high level, one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. The Chargers are a for real 3-0 team. The Indianapolis Colts, maybe the most controversial team in the NFL right now. I've got them 3-0. I've actually got them winning 10 games when you take a look ahead at their schedule. Daniel Jones is no longer Danny Dimes. He is now Indiana Jones. Shane Steichen on an absolute tear, being able to get the best out of him at the head coaching position for the Indianapolis Colts, and understanding that Anthony Richardson was an albatross hanging around his neck. He trusted in Daniel Jones of all players and was able to get the best out of him. The Philadelphia Eagles, absolutely a real team. We just heard all of the content that we made with MJ around the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Vic Fangio, everybody on the defense, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Blankenship. You name the player, and you name the position, and they have a top player at the position. Go ahead and show me where they possibly don't. And don't say DB, because we love Cooper DeJean. When you take a look at Quinyon Mitchell as well, things are looking very nice in the secondary for the Eagles. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be a 3-0 team. The 49ers are not real right now. They are piling up injuries, and I get it. They've won 3 games. You're probably like, AJ, you literally have a Saints, memorabilia behind you, and you guys played the Niners earlier this year. You're right. We absolutely did. And we did not look very solid against them. We had an opportunity to win the ball game, but the Niners are piling up injury after injury after injury. We just got the news that Nick Bosa has torn his ACL. Do not have the Niners as a real football team, though. I just don't. We see the injuries piling up, and it's tough for them because this is another year of injuries, and the Niners will probably be able to be competitive down the stretch of the season, but having Mac Jones as your quarterback, not having much to show for with all of the injuries. Yes, you have 3 wins to show for, but in terms of being a real team that will contend for a Super Bowl, I don't believe the Niners are there considering where they're at in this season. And lastly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are a 3-0 for real NFL team. Baker Mayfield playing like that former number 1 overall pick that he is. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, the rookie, who I honestly did not think would be able to get the type of touches that he has. I have been completely wrong on that front. Emeka Ibuka is absolutely snapping. The defense for Tampa Bay is very well right now, and there is a reason they are 3-0 and earning their respect as arguably the best team in the NFC, up there next to the Eagles, next to the Rams, next to the Packers. The Cleveland Browns absolutely shock the Green Bay Packers and take them down after the Packers were leading 10-0 with 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go in this game. This was the first Browns win against the Packers since 2005 and the first Browns home win against the Packers since 1992. And it was very clear what the Cleveland Browns did in this football game. Every other team tried to outpass the Packers pass rush with quick throws, and they just absolutely failed. But Kevin Stefanski, the head coach for the Browns, showed the league that the key to beating Green Bay was to wear them out defensively. They scored 13 points in about 3.5 minutes to end the game. Like it was really no problem after grinding the Packers down play after play, after drive, after drive, after quarter, after quarter. And this Packers team was not used to getting physical like that. They were not used to getting pushed around. He coached an absolute marathon, not a sprint. And you have to give credit to Kevin Stefanski in that matter. The Cleveland Browns are arguably one good field goal away from having a 2-1 record in the NFL, with the hardest first quarter stretch in the NFL, one of them, arguably, with a past his prime journeyman at quarterback in Joe Flacco, and mostly rookies at skill positions. Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin. You've got Jerry Jeudy in the receiving core, but you're looking for more talent in certain areas, no question about that. But when you look at the Browns' skill position players and the rookie positions that are actually filling those well, you have to be optimistic about the future. Jordan Love and the offensive line absolutely struggled in this ball game. Pressure from Cleveland was immense in this one, and we saw them shuffle their offensive line. Speaking of the Packers, and it ended up coming to bite them. We have seen them struggle a little bit with injuries on that offensive line and shuffling up the units over the last couple of weeks. But really, the Packers just got a taste of their own medicine with the Cleveland Browns, really. And oddly enough, even though the pass rush was so heavy and Cleveland's defense was just so intense for Green Bay, Green Bay still was able to go 10 of 18 in this game on third down, which is absolutely huge. I wasn't really sure why the Packers snapped the ball at the end of the third quarter. Jordan Love, I thought, took a big unnecessary sack from Carson Schwessinger, the linebacker for Cleveland, when they could have just went onto the fourth quarter and not have to take another snap. That was just a really bad play from the Packers and Jordan Love in that moment. The Packers did themselves no favors in this game. In the fourth quarter alone, you had a holding call. You had a defensive pass interference. Jordan Love threw an awful interception, which the DB just read him very well and kind of ghosted themselves back into that zone coverage. You were slow to get off the field goal, which had it blocked. And then really, I thought you got bailed out on what should have been a fumble from Aaron Jones, but the replay officials came in and said that it wasn't a fumble there. But Cleveland didn't score until the final 4 minutes of the football game. But it didn't really matter because they didn't give the game away. Their defense, their special teams continued to play winning football when it mattered. And that's why they were able to come away with the win in this one. The tying touchdown for the Browns was a short field after Grant Delpit had that major interception. And then they ended up milking the clock for the final kick. And speaking of some of the young talents, that fierce young talent that the Browns have drafted year over year, you got Harold Fannin, you got Grant Delpit, Quinshaw Junkins, Dylan Sampson, Carson Schwessinger, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders, if they're ever able to come around on the offensive front for the quarterback position, if they're able to actually ever come around on this roster. So you cannot deny that the Cleveland Browns are kind of a sleeper team in the NFL when it comes to talent, but their quarterback position is going to be the biggest thing that holds them back. And Kevin Stefanski is a solid coach. That's very clear from this game, but we're just going to have to wait and see how the rest of the year really plays out for the Cleveland Browns, because this is a big win that you go and you build on, and there's nothing to take home negatively about this. Yeah, maybe the fact that you didn't score, let me take that back. The fact that you didn't score for 56 and a half minutes in this ball game is a negative takeaway, but you did not give the ball game away whatsoever. You only let up 10 points, and then you brought it home really as the Packers kind of airmailed it to you literally in the final moments of the game. Alabama is traveling to Georgia this weekend for a very high-stakes SEC matchup, as we will have Alabama in Sanford Stadium. Georgia went to Tuscaloosa last year, and now the tables are turned. This is everything you need to know about this football game coming up in a must-win for the Georgia Bulldogs. Number one, the Dogs have to start fast and efficient. No turnovers, no BS like Carson Beck was giving us in games last year, and especially in the Alabama game last year when he just continuously turned the ball over. Mike Bobo has to be efficient with his play calling. He has to be creative. He has to understand that you cannot come out like you did against Tennessee and then wait for the offense to pick up. You can't have these slow starts like we've seen over the last couple of years with Georgia. Yes, not with Gunnar Stockton as the quarterback, but with Mike Bobo as your offensive coordinator. The Dogs have to start fast and efficient because Alabama will sense that, and they will more than likely jump all over you in Sanford Stadium with them being on the road if they sense that you're not starting fast. Number two, let Gunnar Stockton be Gunnar Stockton like he was in a Tennessee game. Call up some sideline fades for him. Call him an RPO. Let him get confident in those key moments of the games, but also let him get confident early and often. Because when you're allowing a quarterback to run through these RPOs, to run through their progressions, to make game-changing plays when they need to, that builds their confidence over time. And I believe we saw a very extremely confident Gunnar Stockton in the game against Tennessee. And that's why Georgia was able to perform the way that they did in the clutch, because Gunnar Stockton was an absolute baller, and he has to be the same way in this game against Alabama Crimson Tide. You got to watch out for Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard. You absolutely have to, because Ryan Williams crushed you last year. Jeremy Bernard was a very solid wide receiver for Alabama last year. And coming into this year too, him and Ryan Williams are still that 1-2 punch that offense is going to, be able to throw your way. Kirby Smart has to buckle down offensively against those guys. We saw in the Tennessee game, you're down big 21-7. I mean, you're down huge 21-7 in the Tennessee game, and your defense was just getting carved up zone after zone after zone, easy completions underneath. Then you were getting busted over the backside with Chris Brazell. Couple of touchdowns, big touchdowns in that game, over 200 yards receiving. You cannot have that happen in this game with either Ryan Williams or Jeremy Bernard. The both of them, and I hope I don't come back to, to hate saying this, the both of them need to combine for like 135 yards or less, genuinely. And we do not need them getting in the end zone. Be grateful that you're at home, Georgia, because as a fan, I'm extremely grateful that we're at home this game. I was very grateful that we were at home in the Texas game this year too, because we had to go on the road to Texas last year. We had to go on the road to Tuscaloosa last year. And now we get to hold both of them at home in pivotal moments in the season as well. This is huge. Alabama and Georgia are both coming off of bye weeks. Georgia is looking to finally avenge the Alabama problem that Kirby Smart has outside of the national championship game that I was just talking about with MJ on Keely Ringo taking it home. Georgia has to use the hedges literally and being between them to their advantage, because this is a huge game. You already went to Knoxville and played a banger. Replicate that same energy, but at home, and don't let it get too far away from you. And lastly, last two here. You have to make Ty Simpson beat you with his arm. I do not believe Ty Simpson is a special enough quarterback to be able to beat you with his arm. Yeah, we saw him do it against ULM, and we've seen him do it against, I think it was Wisconsin that Alabama played the other week. All these teams with letters and same colors kind of blend together as you watch so much football. But Ty Simpson does not feel like a quarterback that is a special enough guy to actually beat this Georgia defense. Ty Simpson has to be made to beat you with his arm. You have to make him drop back and hold that ball a little longer. You have to make him go through his progressions so you can get home on the front four or force an interception if that ball is thrown into harm's way. But I do not believe that Ty Simpson is special enough to beat the Georgia Bulldogs with his arm, or really even be able to do well against that SEC defense in the Georgia Bulldogs. And lastly, get Zachariah Branch the football. Get him the football, get him the football, get him the football. It was unquestionable that the Georgia Bulldogs offense was at their best when Zachariah Branch had the football. I mean, on the screenplay that he took off on, I mean, I could literally hear it. That's how it felt watching him zoom up the sideline. And on the 2-point conversion as well that you used him. Zach Branch was the big transfer in the offseason. I was ecstatic when Georgia picked him up because I think he actually transferred before the season ended. Or maybe we got him shortly after the season ended, but I just remember being extremely on top of the world about Zachariah Branch. And in Georgia's biggest game, in their most pivotal game, Zachariah Branch delivered against Tennessee. And we need more of that against Alabama. I really don't know if there's anything positive to say about the New Orleans Saints at this point. They get absolutely smacked all over the map by the Seattle Seahawks, 44-13. And I had the pleasure and displeasure of having a couple of friends over for this game, and he's a Seahawks fan. And he looked me right in my eyes and told me before the game, he shook my hand and he said, "I just want you to know, brother, I'm about to talk shit." And I said, "Okay, man, I know you are. I hope you're ready for it too." AJ had no shit to talk during that Seahawks Saints game. All I could do was laugh my way through it, brother. Zero positive takeaways from that game. I'm already starting to question Kellen Moore as a head coach because I'm not trying to be a prisoner of the moment, but this is 3 games now, and 2 of them had extremely soft coaching and play calling. The Saints are just getting absolutely destroyed with penalties in this NFL season. I mean, we lead the league in penalties, and it's not hard to see. I think we had 7 penalties in the first quarter or something. I mean, false start after false start after false start, holding. It was ridiculous. The Saints were literally buried underneath the laundry that they were creating in the first half of this game, and really throughout the entire football game. The Saints were setting records in this game in the worst way possible. Seattle had a kick 6 in this game. It was 95 yards. It was the longest ever in Seahawks history. They had a block punt on the Saints. That was the first time that happened in 15 years. The most points in a first half ever for a Seattle Seahawks team since 2012. That is what the Saints put on the football field. That is what the New Orleans Saints are putting on the field right now. Another missed kick from Blake Grupe. I don't know why that guy still has an NFL job. Truly, I don't. This is the third straight week where he has just missed simple chip shots. It's not that your 3 points would have made a 44-16 loss any better, but I don't know why Blake Grupe still has a job. I really don't. The Saints defense was absolutely horrible. I'm already convinced 3 weeks in that Brandon Staley was an absolutely awful hire as defensive coordinator because, again, the last time we saw this guy, he was giving up 60 plus to a division rival on a primetime game, and he lost his job the next morning. And Kellen Moore said, I think the guy who struggled so much defensively when that's his calling and his specialty, when he was a head coach, I think he'd be good to do that as my first defensive coordinator. Can you offer me a Dennis Allen with the Chicago Bears right now, who have given up the most points this year, if I'm not mistaken? Can you offer me that? You just went through an awful defensive coordinator in Dennis Allen, and you think that Brandon Staley is the one. That's already an X marks the spot in the worst way possible for Kellen Moore, just looking in on some of his decision-making. No sacks, no turnovers, nothing even close to making it hard for the Seattle Seahawks in this game, man. They scored on every drive. I don't know how you wake up the next morning as a head coach and look at that and be okay with your defensive coordinator. I get it. We're 3 weeks in. But I was just waiting for the Seahawks to put up a 50-burger. Genuinely. Thankfully, it did not happen. But I don't know. I do know, but I also don't know. Because this team continues to surprise me in the worst ways possible. To show how soft this coaching was, the Saints might have the softest head coach in the league right now with these decisions. Kicking the field goal at the end of the first half, even though you're down by 5 scores. Go for the touchdown. You did it again in the third quarter. Now, I understand the argument and the devil's advocate of, okay, you're trying to get points on that drive. You're clearly getting absolutely wiped in this game. The last thing that you'd want to do is come off the field without points in a couple of key positions where you had an opportunity to, get points. And it's like, yeah, you're on the field, you're grinding it out. There is no way in hell you leave the field without points. My brother, you're down by 5 scores. Literally. You're down by like 35 plus at one point in this game. The Saints actually ended up missing one of those field goals, thankfully. That was the one from Blake Grupe that I mentioned earlier. I don't want to believe that the head coach who just led the Philadelphia Eagles to the biggest Super Bowl win, one of the biggest ones we've ever seen, and had the highest scoring postseason, that he's not able to at least give us half of that. Again, I get it. The roster is not what Philly had. But we're not out here working with straight bums. We got Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara. Say what you want, but Juwan Johnson's been playing all right this year. I know we're not going to forgive him for the week 1 drop. But just to be able to create no sort of creativity, this just wasn't a one-phase loss. This was in all 3 phases in every single facet franchise loss. Special teams spotted the points. The pass rush just never showed up. The flags continue to pile up as they have through the first 2 weeks. And the offense just kind of dinked and dunked to nowhere. 44-13 and 0-3 under Kellen Moore. Now, Seattle's only allowed 17, 17, and 13 points on the season, so it's like their defense is definitely real. And they just held the Steelers to 17 after Aaron Rodgers put up 4 passing touchdowns in the first week, and they forced a couple of picks off A-Rod. It's tough, y'all. I knew it was going to be a long season. I really did. I knew it was going to be a very long season as a Saints fan. I knew this was going to be one of the worst seasons of football that I'd ever watched as a fan of this team. But a 44-13 loss where you allow them to score on every drive. Maybe that's just when I quit paying attention in the game. But I watched the whole game. So maybe they didn't score on every drive. But it damn sure felt like it. And at one point, they had scored on every single possession, either a touchdown or a field goal. It's going to be a long season, Saints fans. No real positive takeaways again from this one. Thankfully, Alvin Kamara is still able to get some production. 18 carries for 42 yards, though, so take for what you will. I wish I had something uplifting to say. I wish I did. I wish I did. That's going to wrap up episode 119 of the NFL with AJL. Before we get out of here, let's bow our heads and let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for an amazing episode 119, for the absolute blessing and gift of MJ at Real Talk with MJ being able to get on the show with us. And yes, I just use an at in my prayer for you, Lord, because we keep it so real when we pray here, not only on the show, but in all moments. Back to it, though. Thank you for allowing MJ to be on the show. Thank you for an amazing episode 119. Thank you for the fans. Thank you for this newfound grind for the show. Thank you for the love for the game. And thank you for a great day at church yesterday. Thank you for a phenomenal year. And as always, Lord, I want to ask you to be with everybody listening to the show, be with the fans, be with the audience. And if someone really needs you right now, Lord, to go show yourself to them, because there are so many people in this world chasing things that are not Christ-like, and chasing things that just actually put them further away from you. And I pray that the people that need you the most right now, Lord, you will show yourself to them in either the most obvious or the subtle way possible, whichever one is best for them to just understand it, Lord, because we know that is what they need. Thank you. We're going to continue working for you. We're going to continue performing in your light and living out your plan. And everyone listening, may they continue to live out God's plan as well. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Y'all make sure to like and share the show before you get out of here. Please check us out on all social media platforms at NFL with AJL. The link is down in the description. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the bell. Don't forget to check out at Real Talk with MJ. We will be back with episode 120 before you know it. As always, I love y'all. I need y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one.